1.
I don't wanna ride this roller coaster, think I wanna get off, but they buckled me down like it's the end of the world. If you don't wanna have this conversation, then you better get out, 'cause we're climbing to our death. At least that's what they want you to think. Just in case we jump the track, I have a confession to make. It's something like a corkscrew. I don't wanna fall, I don't wanna fly, I don't wanna be dangled over the edge of a dying romance. But I don't wanna stop, I don't wanna lie, I don't wanna believe it's over. I just wanna stay with you tonight.
So you're currently on tour promoting Constant Crows.
Yes.
You are coming from out west. You're from St. Louis originally, but you're out from out west where?
Well, I live on a little rural island called Vashon. So you have to take a boat to get to Vashon. It's about 20 minutes by boat from downtown Seattle. But it's kind of cool because you'd never know you're near a city out there. There's more deer than people out there, actually.
So what brought you out that way?
Well, my boyfriend and I were dating long distance, and after a year of that crap, we decided that we better pick someplace gorgeous to settle down in. So we went and scouted out Vashon Island and fell in love with it, and 30 days later we were driving the dogs out west.
So at what point do you say, I'm going to live on an island?
Well, I guess every kind of relationship takes
Sure.
jumping off a cliff together, and what better?
Forget the mainland. Let's just go right for the island.
I know. Well, I was living in Los Angeles, like in the heart of LA, and after 7 years
Wow,
of
what
that,
a difference.
yeah, I just kind of was like, this is my chance to go live someplace gorgeous.
That's
with
awesome.
Awesome.
Constant Crows just came out within the past few months. Tell me a little bit about that record.
Sure. Well, this was my first record in 3 years, and after learning how to tour for a living and just having my guitar and my piano as the only background in my songs, I started getting used to the song sounding acoustic. So I said, and I live in this gorgeous rural place where you just want to sit on the front porch and play guitar.
Right.
So I said, let's just make a acoustic record that sounds like where I live. And we even shot the cover right in my neighbor's front yard. So I just wanted it to be as beautiful as the place that surrounds me.
Tell me about the song Velvet Goldmine. I know it's kind of a song that's near and dear to your heart. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Velvet Goldmine was a song that wasn't going to be on the record at all, actually, until my boyfriend Phil said, you should put that song Velvet Goldmine on your record. And I said, well, it's not done yet, and it's not really finished, and I don't really know how to finish it. And he was like, well, get me a pen. And we sat down at the kitchen table with a grocery sack, and we kind of hammered out the middle section, and I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
The song is loosely based on the metaphor from the movie Velvet Goldmine. It's a Todd Haynes film, kind of a dark film about two glam rockers who fall in love, who have a very glitzy life on the outside, but behind the scenes things are pretty dark. Mm-hmm. And so I just kind of stole that metaphor for the place in your life that may seem kind of glitzy and fine on the outside, but maybe isn't so great for you. And the song is kind of about that.
So So that's the first track on the album.
Yep.
Which then leads into The River, which is probably another relevant track within this conversation of you and your boyfriend.
Yeah. I know. I wish I could get him in here. We'll see if we can drag him in here.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Okay, good. Yeah, so The River is about my first date. It was a walk along the Mississippi River at sunset.
Matt, we're sitting here with Phil Jamieson, who is a very familiar face to you, but for other people might not be as much, but he's been a big part of your life for many reasons, including a song called Velvet Goldmine. But why don't you get into a little bit more about who Phil is?
Phil is my sweet boyfriend who brought me out to Vashon Island and got me out of Los Angeles and helped me write Velvet Goldmine. So yeah, we were, well, I wasn't going to put it on the record.
No, he was counting up how many songs he had for the album, and I said, well, what about Velvet Goldmine? And he's like, that's not going on the album. And I'm like, oh, it should go on the album. It should be the first thing on the album.
Yeah.
And it wasn't finished, and so we sat down at the kitchen table with a marker and a grocery sack and started scribbling out lyrics and cobbling the missing pieces together.
That's awesome. Have you ever dabbled in writing before?
No,
No?
I am not a musician.
So what did you think about the songwriting process?
Oh, it was fun. I mean, trying to capture the idea and conveying it with the right words. It was a lot of fun, especially working with somebody who was talented and knew what they were doing.
He writes songs all the time.
Oh.
He rewrites songs.
He rewrites them. So the truth comes out. The writer behind all of Matt Alber.
Take a bow, night is over, this masquerade is getting colder. Lights are low, the curtains down, there's no one here. Say your lines, but do you feel them? Do you mean what you say when there's no one around? Watching you, watching me, you're one lonely star. And I've always been in love with you. I guess you've always known it's true. You took my love for granted, why? Oh, why the show?
Further down the track list of the album, you have a pretty well-known cover from Madonna, Take a Bow.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, what about that song kind of just popped in your head that said, I need to have this on Constant Crows?
Well, I was in that BMG Music Club when I was a kid, where you pay
You get like 17
a dime
CDs.
and they send you a big sack of CDs, which is awesome when you're a kid because I didn't have any money.
I had TLC on mine, I remember
Oh,
that.
that's cool. I'm older than you, so that wasn't on my list yet. But Bedtime Stories was on there, and that song was just on full repeat, like to get me to go to sleep every night. I don't know, and I guess I sat down one day and I was kind of bored with practicing my songs, and I was like, I wonder if I could figure that one out. And a couple hours later, I was like, oh, this song is really different on just guitar. And there's not a lot of guys covering Madonna, and I thought, well, maybe it'll be, maybe it'll work out.
So when you come to writing a song, or even when it comes to a cover song, do you go to the guitar first? Do you kind of go to piano, or is it kind of just what pops in your head?
I would say I started an instrument, so whichever one happens to be in my lap. So if it's the guitar, great. But I love going into headphone land on my keyboard, and just having a home studio is so nice.
Sure.
You can feel like you're on some grand stage, even though you're in your bedroom with all your blankets tacked along the walls.
And everyone has their part, but how was I to know which way the story'd go? How was I to know you'd take, oh, you'd break my heart? And I've always been in love with you. I guess you've always known it's true. You took my love for granted. Why, oh why? The show is over, say goodbye. And I've always been in love with you, always with you. I guess you've always known it's true. You know it's true. You took my love for granted. Why, oh why? The show is over, say goodbye. Say goodbye. Won't you say goodbye? Don't you say goodbye.
When you started writing music, was it, how old were you?
I guess I was 15
15.
when I wrote my first Jesus song. I used to be a contemporary Christian singer. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Wow.
And then I saw the light, thank God.
The Indigo Girls, you mean?
Yes, the big, bright lesbian light.
It caught me too at 15.
I think they kind of saved me, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you then get into, you know, I'm going to go my own path and start to really focus on writing my own music, you know, all about Matt Alber? How did that come about, and, you know, where did you see that going?
I think I seriously started writing songs about 2 years into my first job out of college, which was singing with a group called Chanticleer in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I sort of escaped out west, and at my full-time job right out of college was singing with 11 other guys making classical music for a living. And I would go to rehearsal early and learn my part, and then when I'd learned my part, I thought, you know, I really like writing songs, and I'm gonna hire somebody to teach me how to record them. So I hired a tutor and maxed out my credit cards and bought a Mac and a keyboard and a mic, and started like hunkering down at it. And about 2 years later, I had my first record.
Wow.
And I thought, well,
Hide Nothing.
this is, yeah, it's called Hide Nothing.
That's great. When you were with Chanticleer, you guys won 2 Grammy Awards. Tell me about that experience.
That was really bizarre. It was the first professional record I'd made with the group. You know, there's 12 of us in a recording studio, and the first record that I recorded with them was called Colors of Love, which was all by living composers. Really wacky music, but beautiful. And you know, then a few months later, we were winning the Grammy Award for Best Small Ensemble. It was that category that, like, if you blink, you miss it right away, but it's still a Grammy. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Your first album, Hide Nothing. Where were you in your head and your heart when you started writing that record?
Oh, well, it's a long journey. I recorded that record over 2 years, and I was living in San Francisco at the time, above Pete's Coffee in the Castro. So the little F market would be rolling by, and I'd have to stop recording while it went by. But where I was at, I was like, this is, these are my first group of stories about my life. You know, one of them was about, you know, growing up as a gay kid and having a big crush on the guy in my class that we went on a field trip together, and you know, I wrote a song called Field Trip Buddy about that. Another one was I was kind of going through a tumultuous breakup that I didn't want it to be over. So I wrote a song about trying to keep it together called End of the World. And I guess it was just like I had sort of free range to write and record however I wanted.
Sure.
So.
Speaking of End of the World, obviously that has been a big success for you. Online, there's been a lot of people watching that video. I've even seen it at bars here, which is kind of crazy. Tell me about that song. Tell me about what it is that you feel in that song and what that video represents to you.
Oh, well, making the video was so exciting. All my friends in Los Angeles, I moved to LA after San Francisco. All my friends in LA said, we want to make a video for you. And I didn't really understand what they were talking about, and they wanted to make a film.
Yeah.
So they came together, and over 2 days we shot a video set in sort of 1960s Mad Men style about a crooner kind of singer who's down on his luck, who goes into the barbershop because he wants to walk out a new man and feel like, you know, he's just a new guy. And, you know, in the course of the video, he catches the eye of another businessman, and there becomes like this sort of like romantic moment between them. And making that video was just, I mean, it was unreal because you know, you sit with your own song and you think, okay, this is the song, this is how I sing it. But then when you get to tell a story visually with it,
Right.
and I guess I kind of thought this is the video I always wanted to see when I was a kid.
Sure.
I wanted to see two men waltzing. I wanted to see one of them dip in and kiss him. And I didn't want to have to imagine myself in the female role anymore,
Right,
you know,
right.
and kind of replace her, like get the Lois Lane out of the way, lay my head on Superman's chest. And so I thought, this is my chance.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the video is gorgeous.
Love, can you tell me why that it is you're holding on to me like it's the end of the
Well, thank you, Matt, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me
And
on Gay Chicago TV.
Absolutely. Enjoy your time in Chicago,
I already am.
and good luck to you on the rest of the tour.
Thanks.
And
maybe we'll play a show together someday.
Someday. Let's do it.
Well, let's work on it.
Perfect. Done.
Okay.
It's the last glint of sunlight, your thumbprint on my hand tied, and the waves whisper for the sail.